Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at a modern financial epidemic. It's something almost all of us experience, but, very few actually recognize it until we're already deep in the trenches. I'm talking about the EMI trap. Today, we're going to explore exactly how debt slowly, almost invisibly, replaces our freedom. And hey, this isn't just your standard budgeting advice. It's really about the profound psychological shifts that happen when borrowing just becomes normal. To really wrap our heads around this and to see how we might unknowingly be trading our future choices for present comforts, I want you to think about the most universally relatable monthly cycle out there. Yep, that much anticipated, widely celebrated event, payday. Every single month starts exactly the same way. The salary arrives. And man, for a brief, fleeting moment, everything just feels totally fine. You hear that little ping on your phone, you log into your banking app, you see that number sitting there and just phew, there's this incredible wave of relief and satisfaction, right? You put in the long hours, you dealt with the stress, you did the hard work, and you earned it. For about 24 hours, there's this tangible feeling of infinite possibility. You feel wealthy, secure, and totally ready to take on whatever the month throws at you. But where does it all actually go? Because reality shows up almost immediately, usually within the first few days of the month. Right after that salary lands, the automatic deductions kick in. Wham, one EMI hits, then another, and another. The car payment, the installment for that brand new smartphone, the house mortgage, maybe a personal loan, or, those older buy now, pay later plans you honestly kind of forgot you even signed up for. Suddenly that robust, happy bank account is draining incredibly fast, and that initial payday relief completely vanishes. You're just left staring at a fraction of your income, wondering how on earth you're going to stretch it over the next 4 weeks. Which brings us to Section 1, the silent debt trap. Let's look at how this starts. The truth is, literally no one enters the EMI trap overnight. It's exactly like that classic boiled frog concept. You don't just wake up one morning buried in insurmountable debt. No, you get there through a slow, steady, and honestly seemingly logical progression. Step 1, a phone. We tell ourselves, hey, it's just a tiny monthly payment, barely a drop in the bucket. Then, step 2, a bike or maybe a high-end laptop. We rationalize it, saying, well, it's an easy installment for something I really need. Then step 3, a car, because, come on, everyone needs a car to get around, right? Each of these decisions feels completely responsible and mathematically manageable right in that moment. But underneath it all, this dangerous pattern is forming. Every single new purchase quietly adds a fixed obligation, and it's just slowly, steadily shrinking your overall freedom. This ties directly into the relentless cycle of lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, even just a little bit, your expectations and desires tend to grow even faster. A better salary immediately justifies an upgraded phone, which justifies a nicer apartment, which naturally leads to more EMIs to furnish it. While your income might increase slowly over years of hard work, your lifestyle expenses, they adjust instantly the absolute second you get a raise. And that growing gap right there, that is exactly where the debt trap thrives. What used to feel like a rare, well-deserved treat suddenly becomes your baseline normal. And maintaining that new normal, it creates an immense, suffocating pressure. Moving on to Section 2, the illusion of ownership. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the deeply deceptive psychology of buying on credit. When you walk out of the store, it genuinely feels like true ownership, doesn't it? You have the brand new device right there in your pocket or that shiny new vehicle parked in your driveway. Your brain registers it as a permanent acquisition. It's mine. But in reality, you aren't buying ownership. You're really just paying for the right to use it today. The real hidden price is that you are quite literally locking in your future months. Every single month moving forward will now bring a non-negotiable fixed deduction. And the bank doesn't care what happens in your life, your career, or the global economy. You are locked in. Which leads us to a massive opportunity cost that very few people calculate. Your income stops being fully yours. It literally becomes a schedule, a rigid system you are legally obligated to follow. And this invisible chain severely limits your life choices. You might desperately want to switch jobs to escape a toxic boss, but you just can't risk a temporary dip in income. You might want to take a sabbatical, start a business, or relocate. But guess what? The payments don't take a break for your dreams. Every major life decision is suddenly hijacked by one terrifying recurring question. Can I still afford my EMIs? Life becomes significantly less about pursuing your potential and almost entirely about servicing your obligations. Section 3. The salary versus payments race. Let's talk about the credit card illusion. It's not just the traditional large-scale EMIs that trap us anymore. Credit cards have accelerated this cycle tremendously. They convert your future income into a present-day burden. Let's break down a very common monthly reality visually. Imagine a monthly salary of $50,000. Right off the bat, EMIs, minimum credit card payments, and basic utility bills eat up a massive $35,000. That leaves a remaining balance of just $15,000 to actually live on. Think about that. You are doing 100% of the heavy lifting at work. You're dealing with all the stress, the terrible commute, but you only get to keep a tiny fraction of the reward before the month has even really begun. The bank gets paid way before you do.
Let's isolate and focus intensely on that remaining number right there, 15,000. The harsh truth is that this remainder, it never truly feels like free, usable money. Why? Because life always happens. That small slice of the pie is immediately devoured by everyday necessities. We're talking groceries, petrol for the commute, school fees for the kids, unexpected home repairs, just general day-to-day survival. You are constantly trying to squeeze a full month of dynamic, unpredictable living into a rigid, leftover budget. So this little slice vanishes just as fast as the heavily allocated portion, leaving you literally counting the days until the next payday.
So the crucial point is, it feels like earning, but in reality, you're just circulating money on a never-ending hamster wheel. The behavioral psychology behind this is both fascinating and, honestly, a bit dangerous. Our human brains absolutely love an instant, guaranteed reward today, and we severely undervalue the pain of dealing with it tomorrow. We actively choose the thrill of the unboxing and the comfort of the new purchase right now, and we completely ignore the grinding, multi-year stress of the payment plan. That psychological blind spot, that inability to emotionally connect with our future selves, is exactly where the debt trap is born, lives, and ultimately thrives.
Section 4. When emergencies strike. The terrifying reality of living without a buffer. This is where the trap turns into a full-blown crisis. The ultimate hidden danger of having a fully committed paycheck is the total loss of your financial safety net. When there is nothing left over at the end of the month to save, emergencies don't just sting, they hit like a freight train. A sudden medical bill, a company downsizing that leads to job loss, a major vehicle breakdown. Bam, bam, bam. Just like that, you are scrambling, deeply stressed, and entirely out of options. Because your cash flow is completely tied up in paying for past purchases, taking out yet another high-interest loan or maxing out another credit card becomes absolutely necessary just to survive the week. It becomes a vicious, compounding cycle that's incredibly hard to break. Let's shift gears to Section 5. True wealth means freedom.
And this brilliantly illustrates how it's time we completely change our relationship with money and make the conscious choice to step off the treadmill. We need to rethink what it means to be successful. Real wealth? It's not about owning an abundance of depreciating things or constantly upgrading your lifestyle to perfectly match your salary. Real wealth is about time. It is about having more control over your days, carrying less debt, feeling less pressure, and ultimately possessing more flexibility to live life on your own terms. Seriously, if you have thousands of dollars flowing into your account, but you have absolutely no freedom to make independent life choices, you don't actually have wealth. You just have heavy obligations dressed up as luxury.
We all need to internalize one incredibly hard truth here. Every EMI gives temporary comfort, but permanently takes away a piece of your long-term freedom. We often think people stay financially constrained simply because they earn a low wage. But actually, scratch that. Highly paid professionals get trapped just as easily. People stay trapped because their income is entirely spoken for before it even arrives in their bank account. It's a beautifully marketed system that quietly and efficiently replaces your personal autonomy with heavy, unyielding responsibility. When your money isn't yours to command, your time isn't yours either.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I really want you to let this sink in. If your salary is already spent before it arrives, you are not earning money. You are managing debt. Wow. Take a hard, honest look at your own monthly cycle. The next time you go to swipe a card for that incredibly easy, tempting installment plan, pause. Ask yourself the real question. Are you using your hard-earned money to build lasting wealth and buy your ultimate freedom, or are you just signing up to manage more debt? Thank you for joining this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.